Take a look at this lady. Imagine she is your grandmother. She has battled severe rheumatoid arthritis her entire adult life. She has had both shoulders replaced, both knees, all the knuckles in both of her hands, and has a steel plate in her wrist from this debilitating disease. She needs both of her hips replaced, but surgeons won't perform that large of a surgery on her because she is a carrier for MRSA, a form of Staphylococcus bacteria, which is resistant to most forms of antibiotics. The best they can hope for is to make her comfortable. She has been completely disabled since age 45, preventing her from working and saving for the future. Since being placed on disability, she lived on a fixed income of around $600 a month. The United States Census Bureau predicts the number of adults over the age of 65 to skyrocket from 49 million people in the year 2016 to over 98 million in the year 2060. What makes me so interested in the increase of the senior population? The lady I asked you to look at in the picture, she's my mother. With the increasing number of older adults over the next few decades, assisted living facilities will be in high demand and an option only the very wealthy can afford. So where will the rest of the older adults live? Where will they go when they can no longer take care of themselves? As adults age, oftentimes they are unable to continue to live independently. There are several options for them to consider, such as living with other family members, going to an assisted living facility, or living in a long-term care facility like a nursing home. According to the Administration for Community Living, only a small minority of the 65 million adults over age 60 live in some form of institution. The same is true for nearly 57 million people, like my mother, who suffer from disabilities. Nursing homes are long-term care facilities that provide around-the-clock care. They provide assistance with daily activities that older adults can no longer do on their own, like toileting, feeding themselves, bathing, dressing. Often there is a negative association with nursing homes. Usually as you think of it as the place that you take grandma or grandpa to go before they die. Medicare.gov provides a nursing home compare tool where you can see recent inspection reports and determine the type of care provided to the patients. Generally, Medicaid will cover the basic financial aspects of the nursing home. However, the resident will be forced to live in close quarters with a roommate they may or may not get along with. Their freedom to come and go as they please no longer exists. Their dietary choices are constricted to whatever the kitchen is serving that day. Life as they know it has drawn to a close. So why not move grandma into an assisted living facility? The answer is simple: cost. Medicare is a national health insurance program which is available to most seniors at age 65 and older. Yet it does not cover long-term or assisted living care. It is the sole responsibility of the resident and their family to pay the extortionist rates they charge. The National Center for Assisted Living identifies most of the residents in assisted living facilities as beneficiaries of Medicare insurance. Apparently, it is fine for seniors to pay into Medicare, yet Medicare won't cover their costs for their care in return. Data published by the Urban Institute, a nonpartisan research institute in Washington, D.C., reported some shocking figures in their annual report. According to their research, a couple with 44,000 per year jobs would have paid over $722,000 into Medicare and Social Security by the time they retire at the age of 65. Amber Heckler, writer for After55.com, explains how the national median cost of an assisted living facility was $45,000 per year in the year 2017. Many states were at 1.5 times that cost. Even more appalling is the figure presented by David Kylo, Assistant Director of the National Center for Assisted Living in Washington, D.C. He stated that most of the residents in assisted living facilities have an annual income of only $19,000 per year. So how are seniors like my mother supposed to come up with the money to pay for decent final living conditions? She does not have a house to sell. She doesn't have assets to liquidate. The solution is clear. Medicare needs to pay for assisted living facilities from the money forcibly deducted from every paycheck of every person in the United States. Multiple progressive Democrats on Capitol Hill, including many of the presidential hopefuls in the 2020 election, have proposed a Medicare for All bill. The bill would cover long-term care. We must encourage them to push forward with this proposal. It is up to us to get involved and be the voice for our grandparents, our parents, and eventually for ourselves. You've heard the problems associated with the options and cost of assisted living. The solution is clear. I now implore you to write to Congress, demonstrate the injustice your grandparents and parents are facing if Medicare does not cover the cost associated with the national process of aging. Talk about the problem with everyone you know. Make your voice heard. I'm providing you with the resources to reach out to Congress and voice your support for the Medicare for All bill. Let's work together to make it a law.